Okay, so this afternoon at our equity workshop, we were unable to have the two presenters that we were going to have because there was a death in the family of one of them, and so they were unable to attend. So I'm going to be presenting our diversity, equity, inclusion, and belonging plan for the school district for the 21-22. Actually, it starts now through June of 22. This is open for tweaking and changing as we move along, but this is the first blush that goes along with our back to school plan in the fall. So Tracy, can you pull it up? There we go. So I don't know if you can see it on your computers, but we are planning our professional development right now for our training. We're going to be researching and doing for the 21-22 school year. We will be checking and acting with our board policy and strategic plan, and then reflected. It's kind of like a school improvement plan. We submit the plans to OSPI by June 1st, and then we have an update to our plan in November of 2021.
Can you mute your speaker in there?
Yeah. It was muted, but now it's not. There.
And
go ahead and start. I just got in.
we started.
No.
Okay, and then in April of 2022, we do another update, and then I'm sure that there will be another progress check or end of plan in June of 2022, so you can start the new school in April. So that's page one. Now I want to go through the actual details. And kudos to Megan. She whipped this thing out today. I said, Megan, this is what I need. And she's like, okay, this was really pretty amazing. So anyway, our plan is to introduce board members and staff to diversity, equity, and inclusion by doing cultural competency training with the board of directors and administrators with Dare to Lead trainers that are also, they are diversity, equity, inclusion, and belonging trainers that go along with the Dare to Lead, and they are certified trainers. Then we will be creating a roadmap to the integration of diversity, equity, inclusion, and belonging, and establishing board governance, and looking at our MTSS with our Kids at Hope training, along with that's also part of our professional development, and utilizing what we have in place with PBIS and Kids at Hope, and tiering out how we can tier 1, tier 2, and tier 3 kids, and how we best meet their needs and close those gaps with whatever the gaps are. They don't just have to be academic gaps, they can be emotional. So we have to look at that, but it's every student, every day. And then what will we be doing during the year? We will engage a diversity, equity, and inclusion and belonging committee. Committee will develop customized diversity, equity, inclusion, and belonging plans and initiatives that result in measurable outcomes and long-term sustainability. Execute equity assessments, engage in workshops that focus on leadership, building on existing diversity and inclusion strategies, people management skills, and productive conflict. And then utilizing the data gathered from staff, students, and families within the district to inform our work and challenge our educational norms and inform our practices and see where we need to do some changing. And then we will reflect. So after we do our plan, do, check, and act, then we will reflect again and figure out what tweaks, because we'll be reflecting on everything we're doing throughout the year. There will be a reflection time. So this will provide us time to collect data, monitor progress, make adjustments. Again, just like a school improvement plan, you look at your data, you figure out what's working, you do your interventions, see if that made a difference. So anyway, this is our first blush at our diversity, equity, inclusion, and belonging. And it was important that we added the belonging piece because you can find a lot of diversity, equity, and inclusion, but I think it's really important for people to belong in the system and want to belong in the system, because then we can do that other hard work of talking and having those conversations about diversity, equity, and including. So questions? And I'm sorry that I'm not the presenters, but this is what we'll be doing, and this is what I've worked with them on helping us to do. So,
Okay, Tracy, can you go back to the first slide up there? Okay, then maybe it's the third one, sorry.
Third.
Yeah, there was some, oops, sorry.
Back one.
Yeah, somebody's trying to, thank you, Jim.
you're welcome. And you can pick your page.
I like that. So, more of a comment than a question. I like the continuing alignment with our strategic plan, because there was a lot of work put into that, and that has a foundation for us to follow with the community. And then I like also the alignment with the kids at Hope, because that's another one where there was a lot of work put into that. We sent folks to a couple of summers for training, and there was a steady rollout of that philosophy from each building, and so keeping those together, I think, is very important, and validates that work that was done before also. So.
And I agree that I think it needs to be interwoven with the strategic plan. Every single one of our goals needs to have the equity lens intersecting with it.
Somebody
Yeah,
had
no,
a question over there.
I mean, I appreciate the work on this. This is such a difficult topic, and difficult in the fact that there are so many pieces to the puzzle. Now I'm just speaking from my work standpoint, things that we've noticed over the last year. We closed our doors over a year ago and sent people home to work, and we just made an assumption that everybody had good Wi-Fi, everybody had a place to put their computer and equipment and set up their office at home, and that's not the case. And there's the one piece of diversity that we talk about, pretty consistently, but there are other pieces that the more you look into, and again, we're looking at a reopening plan, and what does that look like? But yet, we still have staff, we have customers that we're not quite sure what their barrier's gonna be. There's so many different barriers out there that we have to look at to address, and it's the same with our students and our staff. We have that, both of those pieces that we have to look at. Families, who still has parents that are working or not working, and how is that affecting the students and their operations? So I just, kudos to the district for taking this on and us looking at this as well. I really appreciate the reflection piece, and keep looking at the reflection piece, because there are going to be steps along the way where we're going to, oh, we missed that. We didn't think about that, those 3 people that had this issue that is affecting them being able to, have the same opportunity as everybody else and all. And, so, I mean, there's a lot of work still ahead to do, but appreciate the tackling of it.
Thank you. I'm excited about the plan. I don't know, Bo, can we put it up there?
There are 2 people with hands up.
Oh,
Yeah,
got it.
yeah, I kind of moved to different modes so we could,
Nope.
I was trying to get to presenter mode so you
Oh, I
can
see,
see both.
okay.
Yeah, there we go. I have to get used to looking at that too.
Okay,
That's
all
okay.
right.
There,
Go
I
ahead.
think you were first.
Oh, okay. No, I really appreciate it. Ed, first we talked about getting an equity policy. I think it's gone, the plan that's being presented and that we're moving forward on is excellent, and I think it's very important. The process might be actually more important than the policy. However, I do think we need to come up with some kind of policy, at least to start to drive this, that this is what the school district is going to do, and that's our policy, and move forward, make it happen, or as Picard would say, engage. And I think we need that policy saying this is what we're going to do. The community involvement, I think, is extremely important, and how we get the community involved and who we invite in is going to be very important, especially from the diverse groups that maybe haven't had a chance to speak before. We need to make sure they're included. I do like the part about it being evidence-based. I think I've mentioned before, or my experience with education is that we like to come up with solutions before we know exactly what the problem is. And I think that evidence-based and then acting on it is very important. Kids at Hope, I would like to see that reinvigorated in the schools, and may take more of a primary focus and make sure that everybody understands that's who we are and that's what we do in our buildings. And like Jim mentioned, the strategic plan took a lot of work. I am concerned that the word equity is nowhere in the strategic plan, and we need to take a look at that at some point, and I'm not sure where, down the road, to maybe tweak or edit or whatever we need to do to the strategic plan to emphasize that equity, even though there are pieces in there, it never really is stated directly that equity is of prime importance in our school district. So thank you very much for putting all this together. I think it's fantastic, and I'm looking forward to working towards the goal and whatever we need to do.
Well, thank you.
Yeah, Eric? Can you hear us, buddy? Director?
Able to hear, sir?
You got us, Eric?
He went away.
Okay.
Yes, he did disappear. He disappeared off the face of the screen here.
Can y'all hear me?
Hi, Brian.
Brian, goodbye.
Hey. Oh, good. Good to see y'all, and good comments all around.
All right. Jim, back to you, or you still got your hand up from before?
No, I was back to me, but I want to give Eric, do we want to call him, or what do we want to?
Well, he may log out and log back in.
There he is.
There he is.
Is he there?
He's coming in.
There he is.
There he is.
Okay, well, shall I go ahead?
Hey, Eric,
Can you hear me okay?
Yeah, we got you
Yes,
now.
there you are, buddy.
Oh, okay. I switched to my phone, a little better bandwidth. Sorry about that. Just a question, maybe, see if Dr. Pryne can expand a little bit. I know it was mentioned about forming a committee for this work. I'm just a little curious about who the committee will consist of and how folks will be selected for that committee. I'm wondering if you might be able to expand on that a little bit.
Very good question, Eric. We are not to that point yet, but I promise whoever is on that committee, we will be very inclusive. I don't have that piece yet.
Okay, thank you.
Jim?
I was reflecting back on what Director Jeffrey said there, and thank you again for the policy thing, and maybe that is the foundation. And Dr. Pryne, we do have a requirement to submit something to OSPI, correct, by 1 June with our back to school plan.
Yes, we do.
And so that's, good, but having that policy, and could be a work in progress also, we can always go back to it. And then I just pulled out my handy dandy strategic plan, and we're supposed to be in phase 3, which is the implementation plan, or phase of it, which is up to the 22-23 year. So we could, you know, either that committee that is formed up or us, you know, or whoever's left from the strategic plan, and, you know, here's the vision, here's the mission, and there's another title in there, or that maybe says that we will look at each of these, you know, there's 6 columns that came out of the strategic plan of what to focus on. And maybe there's one just blanket bold statement that we will look through the lens of equity on all these. And that at least kind of gets things rolling. And then just that continuing outreach with the community, and it's, you know, part of that elevator speech of wherever we're at out in the community, that expressing that, because there's a great opportunity for us as a district to lead this community down and this North Olympic Peninsula. So thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, thanks, Jim. That was, actually, I was thinking of that. I was trying to dig through here, and I see where how far out, I found it here. The strategic plan goes through, it's, you know, posted in 2023, you know, so we're almost halfway through 21 already.
Yeah.
Here, you know, so we're getting close to a point to readdress that strategic plan. So when 2023 rolls around, we've got a new strategic plan. So bits and pieces to be able to add to that, or you know, come in line with our equity policy, which I fully agree is a policy that kind of at least may not have to do anything extravagant, but it's something that dictates this is what we strive for, this is our goal, this is what we want to do here as a district.
I will bring some sample policies to our next policy workshop meeting, and we can go through those, if that works.
I like that.
Yeah.
So you got one last hand up.
I like that. I went off that page.
Mr.
Larry?
Yeah, I would just encourage, and I think we're headed in the right direction. The equity is a lot in the news these days, and it tends to focus on specific equity issues, I realize, that are very important and significant. But the idea of equity being a broad umbrella and removing barriers to any of our children that might be affected by barriers that we're not even aware of. That's why I like the evidence piece. Let's find out what's going on. But a wide range of challenges that affect kids, and trying to do what we can so that they're all inclusive and nobody, because of their circumstances or their heritage or their background, or can be addressed. And that's why I like the universal design for learning, that idea that we're here to take the students from where they are and move them and remove the barriers, and so they can grow. And you know,
And that ties right in with all the work we're doing.
right. And but just to make sure that we have more of a broad picture of what equity means.
All right, any other questions, thoughts? Go ahead, Jim. I gotta get used to watching the screen out here too. Being in person, I don't focus on that anymore.
I like that, it's that bookmark that's out of the Portland school system, which that's shared out, because it's a good reminder. You have it with you, though today I don't have it with me, so shame on it, but it's just those little reminders to remind us to focus on, and just as what Larry is emphasizing here. So we don't go sideways. I chuckled at our last meeting when we talked about equity, which, those of us that worked in those other government fields, it was, oh, did we put the check mark into the weekly or the monthly training? And we know that it's kind of a habit that you can get into, and so we should check each other, check the community, check the district on how we, with that interaction, and that everything we're doing, everything we look at, that we pause maybe and go, hey, are we truly looking at it through that equity lens?
Eric?
There he is.
Hi there. Yeah, thank you, and definitely agree. I'm glad Director Stauffer brought up that equity aspect again, because as I mentioned before, I definitely want this to be more than that. And I believe Dr. Pryne and Randy, I think I sent both of you an email. Just one of the things that's important to me, that with the policy and the plan, everything in place, that we also invest, as stated, we invest the time and resources necessary to give our staff the tools and professional development that they need to follow through with everything. And I know that's an ongoing process, so it's not just a one and done, because we're all going to continue to have new staff, and we're going to continue to learn and grow, and it's going to be an ongoing thing. And I like the aspect of the constant reflection as well. But with that reflection, also, what other resources do we need to give our folks to make sure that this is a priority? So just want to make sure that that's brought forward as an important priority in this plan.
Thank you. It is.
All right.
So my presentation is over,
All right.
unless you have any more questions for me.
Dr. Pryne?
Yes.
Can you just summarize just a little bit about, and I know you covered it a little bit, so where do we go from here? Just kind of the next couple of steps. Can you just summarize that for me briefly?
Yes, so where we go from here is we are having, for the administrative staff that has not been trained in Kids at Hope, we will be in 30 hours of training this week. I'm not sure how, I'm gonna have to stay up all night, I think, and do my day job. So we are starting the training tomorrow from 1 to 4, and then Wednesday, Thursday, Friday from 8 to 4, and then Saturday, 8 to 12. And then we are also working on getting our Dare to Lead, certified Dare to Lead trainers that also work on, that infuse that with the diversity, equity, inclusion, and belonging training. And we will start with the board at your board retreat on the 17th of June, and you'll have about 2 to 3 hours of training there. And then they'll start working with the administrative staff, and then we will start planning how we're going to roll it out to all of our staff. So we're going to have an administrative institute in August, and we will get some of the training there, and we will start formulating plans on how that looks to roll that out. So those are and I'm going to be bringing some equity policy drafts or best policies that I can find on equity, and bring those to our policy workshop, so we have that piece starting. So those are our next steps.
Great. Thank you.
Welcome.
And Dr. Pryne, just to ensure you don't think I'm not listening, I don't have any questions, but appreciate the comments shared and what you've outlined here today.
Thank you, Brian. I knew you were listening.
All right. Well, if we don't have anything further, and you're finished, I guess we can end the workshop.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, thank you very much.
All right,
It's
thank
really
you.
exciting.